Hi, my name is Colton Punches. My VTO is on a college readiness development program for high school seniors. I'd like to thank you for tuning in and hearing what I have to say from my research and just my project in general. And let's get started. So the need and purpose for my program was based on kind of a survey from the Youth Truth poll, where they took a survey of 55,000 high school students on if they felt prepared for college. And this was prepared based on how their high school was developing them and basically getting them ready for college. The results were pretty staggering, as in 51% said they felt prepared for college, and that left about 49%, pretty much half, that felt that they were not prepared for their first year in college and beyond. So this showed me that there is definitely a clear need for high school students to be prepared for college beyond what the high school is doing for them. Um, really, even when I was in high school, there was no real steps or any development from my school towards anything when it came to college, whether it was studying, note taking, or anything. So I felt that there was definitely a need for something in this area to prepare students. So basically what I'm proposing is that my program is built strictly to prepare high school seniors for college, and we'll get into kind of the specifics of what that would be and what we would do for those students. So the program details. The first thing I like to start off with is our clients would be high schools throughout the state of Wisconsin, and that is strictly just for our first year. And as you'll see as we get moving on, that we will expand a little bit to other states, but for the first year and getting this program started, it'd be just high schools in the state of Wisconsin. So basically what would happen is we would have a slight altering of the high school classes and curriculum. One or two classes a year for seniors would be kind of redesigned to mimic a college class or be more geared towards a college class. These would be things like having more online aspects, assignments to turn in, videos to watch, discussion posts to have in class, as opposed to kind of the same old high school where you learn the material and have about 20 minutes at the end to work on homework while the teacher either sits on their computer or helps out a little bit. There'd be more time and freedom, so I propose that these classes in high school would meet only once or twice a week, maybe three times, for 45 to 50 minutes. And those students would have more time, obviously, to throughout their week to do the homework online, have more freedom in that aspect, because in college you do have quite a bit more freedom. From high school, you have a strict schedule every single day of class that takes up your whole day. So the classes would meet only 2 to 3 times a week, and those would be more lecture style teaching instead of the traditional high school class that I referred to earlier. Our team, the team that or the employees that I would have in my program would redesign the would design the program, provide training to the teachers that are teaching the course. So we would kind of start the curriculum and how it would be kind of shaped, and then we would also provide the training to the teachers, the high school teachers that would have to kind of change their way of teaching. So we would provide that for the schools that are buying our program and for the teachers that are having to go through it. To add on, there'd also be college readiness workshops. Those would probably be 2 times a month for the whole school year for seniors. And those would cover things such as effective studying techniques. In high school, it was pretty easy for a lot of students, including myself, to not really study a whole lot for tests and be able to get pretty good grades on it, where in college there's much more material to cover and much more time for students to do what they want, where studying techniques kind of get left behind. So that's one thing we would definitely hit hard and cover. We would also cover time management techniques, how to kind of schedule a week or a day so that you have time for studying, you have time to do all your homework for all of your classes, but also have time for free time hanging out with friends. This is increasingly relevant for student athletes as they have practice, workouts, and things like that. So it's really important for time management for any high school senior moving to college to have some type of time management technique. Note-taking strategies while in class to help with information retention, and then test-taking strategies to remain effective in their ability to take tests and to remain calm while also taking. Another thing we would do for our program is follow up with students when they reach college. We would do things like keep up with their grade reports. It would kind of have to be volunteered or not volunteered, but the students, once they get to college, would have to submit their grade reports just so we could get a feel of how they are doing. And then we would offer any assistance if they need it or request it. That would be one of the benefits from our program is once they took it in high school, they would be able to get free help for the rest of their college career. Our core values for our program, the first one is servant leadership. We want to have a focused goal in helping others and improving others, and that's improving high schools so they can help improve their students' lives when they get into college and prepare them for college, especially when the first year is usually the toughest for students getting used to the college life. So our first and most important goal is, or core value is servant leadership. Moving on with that is hard work. Our team needs to have a very good work ethic, especially with our program being new and working through some of the difficulties at first and getting this thing off the ground. We also want to have a growth mindset, and have constant improvement. Especially with our program, like I said, being new, there's going to be a lot of growing pains and things that we need to improve on. I'm sure that our program will have some kinks in it that will have to be worked out, and if we don't have a growth mindset on that, then it'll be tough to improve moving forward. We also want to be creative. We want to have outside the box thinking. We're trying to kind of change the whole educational landscape with what we're doing, so to think on the traditional methods isn't really going to help us a whole lot. So I want our group to be creative and the ability to think outside the box and create something that is unique and that's not been done before. Our financial plan, our first thing we'll cover is costs and expenses. First thing and the biggest thing is going to be payroll. The way I look at it is the president of the program, which would be me, would be receive a pay of about $15,000 a year. The vice president would receive about $10,000. Our curriculum advisor, which we would hope would be a professor in college or a teacher in college, and we'd hope to have two right away, would receive about $8,000. And then our marketing advisor, whether that is someone we hire off to the side or our team doing it, it would be about $4,000 that we'd split up. But we'd probably look to hire somebody in that area to help us market and make our program seem attractive. That would be about $4,000, which would altogether come out to be about $45,000 in payroll. And like I said, most of our employees would be part-time for the first year at least. It'd be really tough to raise enough money for this program, especially with what we're going to be having our program cost to get a ton of money for payroll. So we would have part-time workers, and that's really nice, especially with our curriculum advisors being professors in college or high school teachers, because they have the summers off, so they can spend a lot of time developing our program then. And then, a vice president would be someone that pulls a little bit more weight. And then the president of the program, me, we'd be putting in more hours, but we would have jobs on the side probably that wouldn't be too time consuming. So the income and revenue that we would have, the cost of our program that we would charge for each school is $8,000. And that's pretty much as high as we want to go. High schools are often pretty budget restricted, and we don't want to run our program up there too high without it, especially with it being early on in its lifespan. So we would go about $8,000. For our first year, we'd want a goal of about 5 high schools at the very least. So that would come out to about $40,000. And that would cover almost all of our payroll, which we wouldn't have any building expenses or rent expenses. We would kind of just meet at a place where we wouldn't have to spend any money, so we'd keep costs down. We'd also want to have investor money of $20,000, something that's very achievable, where we have a total income or money base of about $60,000. This gives us a total of about $15,000 after expenses to put in the bank, save it so for the future of our program, or use on other things that we see fit to expand our program. Our 3-year plan would be having clients or high schools that are using our program through the entire state of Wisconsin. We'll also have plans for integrating into other states in the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, to start kind of getting our program into those states. It's small and focused, but it's something that we can be detailed on. We don't want to expand too quickly and get too specialized or bite off more than we can chew. And like I said, we want to specialize in a few areas, be really good in those few areas, and then have the ability to expand in the future. The goal is big enough to be successful, and big enough to where it'll push us and it'll take hard work, but it's focused enough and small enough to give us a high chance of success. Our 10-year plan would be having clients throughout the Midwest and about every single state, and have a large number of clients there. We would have a staple for most high schools in the Midwest, and we would have concrete plans of expanding throughout the remaining regions of the U.S., all throughout the whole entire country. We would also have headquarters in Wisconsin and other Midwestern states, with about over 100 full-time employees, where we would have regional presidents, regional managers, and things like that, so that we would have more of an expansion and have people to work in those areas instead of our team having to travel all over the place. Our niche, or what makes us special, is providing a real college curriculum in a high school setting where most high schools have nothing. We provide extensive and detailed support and training to those high schools, so anytime they needed help or had questions, we'd be readily available to help them out. And our college readiness workshops put on by our own staff are unlike anything that would be available for high schools now, and provide even more detailed support to students and give them ideas of how they can succeed in college. Our program is unique and unlike anything provided by anyone else anywhere, so it would be something that's hard to replicate and something that would be the first of its kind. It provides helps to high schools to reach their students and ensures that students are prepared for college. In conclusion, our program's goal is to provide high schools with a way to prepare their students for college. As we saw before, 49% of those students surveyed in that survey were not really confident in how prepared they were in college, and that comes from their high school. So we're trying to prepare high schools to pretty much have a focus on the students' long-term goals and their long-term life, as opposed to just focusing on their high school graduation. We're also not focused on just getting the $8,000 from schools. We're really looking to have an impact on these students' lives past high school. We want to provide a process for students to be successful that lasts for more than their time in school. Students that can be confident in the way they prepare for college courses and tests in college, and really that brings that success for them. That confidence can go over into job interviews, into how they prepare for big time projects for their jobs, or even raising a family. So that's kind of our goal and what we try to look for. That is all for my PowerPoint presentation on my VTO. Thank you for listening in, and I appreciate it.